Cool, cool. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to our July 13th team meeting. Got a lot of powerful info for you, but before that, we have some information to share. First and foremost, please share your information. Got any good things for bucket fills? Who's got some good things to share as we get people going in here? Come on, come on. What do we got? What do we got? All right, Brandon Turner. What do we got, Brandon? What do you got?
I have my first closing tomorrow.
Awesome. Congratulations on that, bud. First
He's
of many,
definitely
right?
been putting in the work. It's time to get paid.
First of
Let me borrow a
many.
dollar.
First of many.
No, I'm just-
All right, anybody online? Anybody else got anything to share? Good things?
Closing Friday.
Closing Friday. We got another closing. All right. Bring them, keep them coming. Anybody else?
My kiddos get back in town today, so I'm excited.
All right. Okay. All right. Are you sure? You sure?
I hope so.
Okay,
Their
all right.
flight is today. Don't
No,
scare
I'm not
me.
saying are you sure about them getting in. I'm sure about the
I'm
excitement.
like, hold on. Right?
Yeah. All right. Anybody else? Going once? Nothing? All right. Let's keep rolling. Got a couple of announcements coming for you. We have some pretty cool classes and events coming up for you guys. First and foremost, we still want to make sure we get it out there that Mega Camp is coming up. All right. The dates are August 23rd and 24th will be the full days. For those of you that aren't familiar, it's a great atmosphere to be around. It, a lot of learning. We are what we've been talking about ad nauseum, right? The shift is coming. There's going to be some very this powerful information directly from Gary and all the analysts that help Gary out. And great networking opportunity. And the best part about it for us where we are is that it's just a short drive away, right? It's located in Austin. So I highly implore you to make it if you can, August 23rd and 24th in Austin. It is a $649 is the pricing now to get in. And if you for whatever reason your schedule doesn't allow for it and you can't make it, your second alternative is of course a digital virtual option at $149, okay, which will give you full access to all of the breakouts and the main stage, and you will have access to go back and watch them for months, okay? So 2 options. Let me get out of the QR code way. Again, reach anybody in leadership if you need more info. Yes, ma'am, Miss Pam Shockey. Oh, she's ready. Look at that. Oh, and there goes everything.
Does purchasing the full value ticket also give you access to the videos for
Yes,
months
great
and months?
question, Pam Shockey. If you do get the in-person ticket for a Mega Camp, you do have also the online access to go back and watch the videos. Yes, you do. Great question. Yes, absolutely. All right. Give us a second here. I believe there's one of the other next announcements are, do not forget that in our summer series, we do have some of our team meetings are offsite. I believe if any of y'all took part in the one a couple of weeks ago, which was in Harvest Green, I believe. This next one is going to be in Veranda. All right. And it is next Wednesday here coming up. All right. Next week, I believe it's next week, 2 weeks from now. Okay. We're going to get the date up here in just a second. But it will be in Veranda. Okay. 27th, I think is a Wednesday, right? Majid, you might be in the wrong month. Yeah. Yes, 2 weeks from now on the 27th, it is in Veranda. Okay, it's at the Perry Homes in Veranda. All right, so please make note of that. Looking forward to seeing y'all out there. All right, and then guess what? Christmas in July. This is just a save the date announcement. We have our Christmas party all set and ready to go. It is, so, set your calendars, Friday, December 2nd. It is not 2018, it is 2022. Yeah, no worries, no worries. Yeah, no worries. It is at the Sweetwater Country Club. All right, of course, between now and then, we will be providing you with a plethora of information. But again, it is on December 2nd, so save that date, okay? All right, giving you plenty of advance notice. All right, we have our absolutely jack of all trades. Yes. Okay, great question. It has been, the short answer is it's been resolved. Okay, nothing ever got turned off or no access was revoked. We're good. Okay, at the end of the day. Okay.
Yes, thank you to Norman. I know he was working tirelessly on making sure that all came out
well, and he got it all accomplished. So thank you, Norman. Okay, so I wanted to get up here today and talk about goal setting, right? My function in the office, I handle the operations and the financials for the brokerage, right? So one of my responsibilities is to look at goals as an office, numbers, study trends, right? So this is my reminder to you. We just finished June, which is the second quarter. We are 1/2 of the year through. Now is a fantastic time to sit down with your goals, to look at what did I intend to do for the year of 2022? What have I done? In real estate, we work on a 30 to 90-day business, right? The stuff that you do today, you don't get paid for 30 to 90 days. So there's a little bit of a, what do you call it, waiting period. But when you have 6 months in a year, you have a very good picture of what's happening with your activities to your results. And now when you sit down and you look at your year to date, you can reevaluate and ask yourself, are you on track to do what you intended to do this year? Now, for some people, the answer is going to be yes. And for some people, the answer is going to be no. If you are not on track, what do you do about it? Do you change your activities? Do you change your goal? I would caution against changing the goal. Why? Because you set the goal for a reason. That's rhetorical. I set my own personal goals, by the way. And then I come into the office and I set office goals to help meet my personal goals. And if I set those goals, it's because that was important to me this year. So if I'm not going to hit those goals, you know, there's some personal things that are going to have to change. So if you sit down and you look at your activities for the year and you realize you're not going to hit your goal, then there might need to be an activity change. So if you are an agent that is less than a year in the business, or you've done less than 5 transactions, or you're in the productivity coaching program, the go-to person is Nikki Barker, the productivity coach, to help review these numbers with you. Later today at 1 o'clock, we are being blessed with the presence of our broker, Andy St. Jean, who's coming in, and she's doing a class for experienced agents, although if you want to join in, you can. And she's going through a mid-year review on goals and what does it look like. These are people that set their goals back in October of last year, and they're reevaluating and seeing where are they and what's the plan to move forward for the rest of the year. And by the way, the economy and everything around us, that can affect our goals and our activities. And so understanding what's happening in the economy, what are we doing in our activities, and what do we need to change to ensure that we're still meeting our personal goals at home. Okay, there's my tidbit.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Krista. Appreciate it. All right. Oh, there we go. All right, Nikki, your show. You have some pretty cool stuff to share, right?
Yeah, hi. I got you. Hi, my name is Nikki and I am the productivity coach. And oh my God. And I'm very loved. So today I wanted to share a little story, and it's about Tanisha Foster. She should be on the call. I don't know, you're probably not gonna see her, but you're gonna hear. She's a first-year agent and she's dual career, and guess what? She capped in her first year. So she's actually taking a break for her job to talk to us today. And I asked her the favor today to tell us a little bit about her story and if she has any advice for any agent, but in the specific, those dual career agent that we have here in their office. Tanisha, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay, thank you for taking the time. We really appreciate it. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and what have you been doing?
So again, my name is Tanisha. I'm a new agent. I started back in September. And I get up early and I stay up late. I think one of the biggest things is being organized and kind of, you know, having your schedule ready and prepared ahead of time. I honestly have a lot of clients, so many that I feel like I really should give up my job because I'm so busy with real estate. But of course, having that, you know, check that I know is coming in every 2 weeks is, I guess gives me peace. It also helps me with my clients. You know, I'm more patient and understanding. I'm not rushing them because I understand that I do have income coming in. I think if it was the other way around, I would probably be more impatient. I I think one of the biggest things that really helped me in the beginning, I didn't realize that there was a transaction coordinator that you could hire to like assist you with your transactions. And when I found that out, and of course they mentioned that in the beginning, but I didn't think about it like, that's something that I'm really gonna need. But after getting the transaction coordinator, that really, really helped me. Because now I feel like I market, I find the clients, I find, the right place, and then I just contact them to do all the paperwork. And of course, I stay in tune with my client, but with them doing, the transaction side of things, the paperwork side, that really, really helps me out. Another thing that I feel like I do that kind of helps as well is even if a client is not all in, I may meet somebody and, they say, I'm looking for a home in Pearland, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but, I'm not really serious right now. I get on hard when I'm laying in the bed. I get on hard, I look, see what's out there, send it to them. And a lot of times that'll get their attention. They'll call and say, hey, let's meet up, let's go see the place. But it didn't really seem like they were serious in the beginning. So I think that really helps, especially with the schedule that I have as well. I work 7 to 3:30 Monday through Friday. And so I try to schedule my showings after work and on the weekends, which of course is, when a lot of people are available to go to showings. So that also helps me as well.
So what I'm hearing is that you are really organized, so time blocking, right? And everybody knows about that. And the other thing is follow up. If you
Yes.
don't mind me asking, Tanisha, what is your lead genning? What are you doing while you're busy at work? How are you getting your clients?
Oh man, I do everything. I market on Facebook and Instagram. At one point I was I made these, I have a silhouette. And so I made these little houses and then I put all of my information on them and I put a magnet on the back and I put them at churches. I put them out at Costco's. I only got 2 calls from that, but I think a lot of my leads come from people that I know. I send something to everybody in my contacts. I know a lot of people say, well, I don't want to bother people. Well, I don't bother them, but every couple of months I send something to everybody in my contacts. I recently lost a client, and I say lost a client, she wasn't really, could have been a potential client. She was a friend of mine, and she forgot that I was an agent. And it just so happened I had closed the transaction a few days prior, but she had already signed with someone else. And so she called me, she was like, oh my goodness, I wish you'd have sent me a reminder that you were an agent, because I would have used you. But that's why you have to, I guess, remain fresh in everybody's brain, especially with your contacts. So I've closed, I have 12 written down, but I think I've closed 13 transactions since I've been an agent. And so I have a new potential client that I just got, and this is going to be the first client that I wasn't referred. I just happened to meet her. I was showing another place and she pulled up and she was like, hey, is this your house? And I'm looking for a house. And, she's like, I don't have an agent. So I gave her my card. But everybody else that I've had, I've either been referred by someone else or I knew the person already.
Well, thank you for sharing. And could you give like 3 pieces of advice to new agents or dual career agents in the specific that can set them up for success, just like you did for yourself?
Make a to-do list every single day, double check it. Stay in tune with your clients. Have a calendar and a plan, be organized, market. Even when I have clients, I'm still trying to market, because of course, not all those clients that I have, will go through. So I have to continue marketing so I can continue getting clients. Another thing I think is helpful as well is giving them a gift that will remind them of you every day. And so one thing I do, there's a welcome sign at Sam's, and it's like it used to be like $19, but of course everything is going up. I think they're like $25. And I give those to all of my clients. And the reason I do is because when somebody knocks on their door and see the welcome sign, a lot of times they'll say, oh, that's a nice sign. And the first thing they'll say, my real estate agent gave me that sign. Oh, you have a real estate agent? I'm looking for a house. Here's her information. So it's just a reminder every time they walk, whether it's a lease or a purchase, every time they walk into their home, they'll remember me because they'll see that welcome sign. So it's just something small, a reminder of, this comes from my agent. So hopefully they'll remember me every day.
Okay, well, thank you, Tanisha. I really appreciate your time. I know you have to go back to work, and congratulations again. And for us, it's an honor and a pleasure being in business with you.
Thank you.
So this was just a little story, a little testimonial that it is possible. Tanisha has a full-time job, and yet she organized herself and she made the time for real estate. She was really intentional about it. What I hear is being top of mind. She has a sphere, so she kept on her sphere and she follows up. We all know that the fortune is in the follow-up. If you are a new agent or you have less than 5 transactions, we are here to help you with that. Every first Monday of the month, we actually have a mastermind for new agents so you can share your struggles and not feel alone, and we can help you to get on the right path to get your transaction soon. Okay? Well, thank you. I'll take too much of your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yep, it's a powerful message. All right. Oh, you might have to click it. Go ahead, go ahead.
I thought you got the clip.
No, she won't.
Okay.
Here.
Okay, wanted to give y'all a quick BBL. Not your traditional BBL. This is, but you do have to actually get up and get busy, right? Lift your booties and get busy. This actually stands for a build your brand lesson. So how many of you guys, are conveying your message, much like she was conveying her message on social media? Great. How many of you guys are using Instagram? Not very many. Okay. Why do you want to use Instagram? Well, Instagram has 2.1 million accounts out there. Out of that 2.1, 1.9 million people get on it every single day. Right now, more than 200 million businesses are Instagram. So you need to be on Instagram. So my quick BBL moment or lesson is this. 1, Instagram is configured to get your message across, right? Because it's one thing about crafting your message. Now you got to get it across. To get your message across, you have a high likelihood if you use videos. Within your videos, you want to make sure that you're teaching them something. And then finally, make it engaging. One quick tip is use music, and especially trending music. So I want to make sure real quick, if I can just share my thing here. Get back on the, can I share mine? Screen. All right, so in Instagram, one thing you want to make sure that you have is a creator account. CW, do you have a creator account? A professional creator account? The way you find that out is when you go into your Instagram, you see right here where it says professional dashboard for creators. You want to use that because you want to know that you're targeting the right audience, right, with your message. Business is part of the professional, but it limits you, and especially limits you with what I'm about to tell you, which is utilizing trending music, right? You can't do it as much. The thing about the trending music and why you want to use trending music, if it's trending, only about 10% of your audience on Instagram sees your story, right? More people have an opportunity to see your feed. When you use trending music, now it's going to push your feed in front of more people. This is why I said your message. You want to be on the professional dashboard that's the creator so you can actually utilize the music. This also lets you know what your demographics are, okay? And we can go into that on a different time. So you do? Yes, good. Okay, what I also wanted to show you is when you hit the hamburger stack up top, you can go to your saved and go to an audio if you saved audios, right? This song right here, Surprise, is trending. How do I know that? There's an arrow right here pointing up. It tells us how many reels have used this sound, and that arrow means it's trending. Add that song to your videos. That's your BBL for today. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, Brazilian butt lift. Oh, sorry.
All right, we good? Back on? We need to click on it? Yeah. All right, we'll go straight to CW. Build your brand lesson. How cool. Yeah. All right, CW, we got to follow that Brazilian butt something, but all right. All right, here we go. All right. Well, hey, all right, let's, a lot of
Different
impactful, I know. I see that. I was gonna say, are you waiting for the shift to go through before you cut it? Or is that like kind of the, oops, what
I'm
happened
gonna
there?
be like Samson, the longer the hair gets, the more stronger.
Huh? That's a good, okay, so that's what everybody needs to do. All right.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. Chad might have a problem. Well, he tried to grow it out a little while back, but all right. So you guys have heard at nauseum that the shift is coming, the shift is here, etc. Right? So the questions I ask you is how will you know that we're in a shift? All right. And how does that impact your database? The important thing is don't wait to act. All right. So what we've heard that resonated through what Verna was saying, what Tanisha was saying, that I kept hearing essentially is a fundamental feat in shift. And that is you have to find your message and then the method in which you're gonna send it. All right. That's exactly one of the diagrams that you got in front of you today if you're here in person. All right. So when the economics shift, so does the motivation. All right. So finding the motivated is the challenge. All right. So the funny thing is if you've been in the business for within the last decade or so, you actually haven't even gone through a shift. All right. So this gentleman here, and I know we've seen him a few times during the shift, and there's a reason why, is because he's actually been through multiple. All right. So what better person to have up here than to kind of dissect through some of the activities you need to do and what's important moving forward. Because guess what? A lot of us actually have no idea because we've never seen it. All right. So, all right, CW, take it away, buddy. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've actually been doing this.
I've been doing it a long time. Okay. We usually say a couple of decades BC, like that's before computers and cell phones. But my first shift was in 1961. So I was about 10. I was 10
It's
years
like, you
old.
never told me that. Like,
I was 10 years old. So that you can do the math. I'm 71 now. But my supply chain dried up. My parents, my dad was a home builder back then, and he had over 100 homes under construction, and you couldn't give them away. So our family dynamics changed. It changed dramatically. I mean, it was, it was a different time for us because we had been, he was building homes all over the city. So I got my license in 1973. I was still in school, actually. I was holding open houses for my dad, doing things like that. And then in 1980 was the big, Gary talks about the Great Recession. And so I did a little bit of research on it because I kind of took, to me, the Great Recession was 1980, not then. But when I went back, and you guys ought to look this up because it's really, really interesting. If you go and look on history.com/news/US-economic recession timeline, it goes through all the recessions. We've been through 13 of them since World War II. And actually, if you're in Houston, there's more. Because if you look at all of these, almost every one of them, it's really interesting. When you look at it historically, they've been based on two major things: oil and interest rates. And that's where we are right now. Okay. So for you guys that weren't around here, in 1980, gas prices went up, but you couldn't get gas because there was long lines to get it. And if you try to show property without gas, it doesn't work. Okay. That's why you should always list to last if you're an agent. That's the secret to real estate: list to last. Okay. If I can share that with you, and that gets you through any recession or anything else. because if you control the inventory, you're always going to have, you'll always make it through with that. But in 80, that lasted, keep in mind, when they talk about a recession, if you know what a recession is, it's basically it's a shift where the contraction of economic growth for two or more quarters, okay? But you got to remember that when it does that, the residual effects go on for years after that, okay? So in 1980, that shift, put it like this, you could buy a house over in First Colony for $20,000, okay? There were so many foreclosures and things, but that shift lasted about 10 years. 1980 shift only lasted really from about 2009 to 2011.
2000 shit.
2000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you said 80s.
So, there's, and I'll tell you, I'll just share this with you too. In every shift, somebody comes out ahead. Okay.
Mhm.
If you figure out the niche market, whether it's foreclosures or, as an example, in 2000, when we had so many, what they call short sales,
Mhm.
which I don't know why they call it that, because they
Takes a
never,
long
they're
time.
not.
Yeah, take a long time.
They take forever.
Yeah.
I went to all my investors and said, write as many contracts as you want to, because the general public is not going to write contracts on those because they need their house in 90 days.
Mhm.
So that was one of the things that I did. So if you can define a motivated market, and that's what the shift book was talking about, is define motivation. So I kind of rambled on that, but
No, but that's
Um,
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So you've been through multiple shifts. Okay. We've established that.
61, 80, 2008, 2015. are the
And
four
now
that-
today.
Yeah,
yeah.
now today.
All right. So what makes today's, I know it's hard to tell right now because we're just getting into it, but what does today's look like? Why is it different today than say the 80s or the 2009 one?
I don't think anybody has defined this shift yet.
Yeah.
That's a big problem. But this morning, after I left my first meeting before coming here, I heard that the inflation rate is at 9.1.
Yep.
Okay, so if you take oil prices and you take that, it's very similar. It hasn't been that high since 1980. So we could be in for some big changes. And it's something you guys, you need to be prepared for, because if you're prepared for it and you kind of think it through, you should be able to come out ahead.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, it's kind of on the spot, but you mentioned how last time you succeeded with foreclosures, and this is also a great question for Dale. Do you see, with the fact that lending is a bit stronger these days, do you see the foreclosure market being similar to what it was at that prior? Or do you think it's going to be a lot less foreclosures?
I think there's gonna be less foreclosures.
Yeah.
Since you mentioned Dale, let me use them as an example. If you've been riding this wave we've been on, easy business and stuff, you better get busy, because think about the lenders that have been, since 2008, have been able to make all their money doing refis because the interest rates kept dropping, refi. There's a guy in one of my breakfast groups that said, I'm going to have to change my whole business now because I'm going to have to start meeting agents because I can't do refis anymore. So there are going to be people, y'all are very, you're very valuable to a lot of other title companies, and lenders are your gold to them. So just remember that.
That's pretty cool. Okay, all right. Well, okay, well, let's keep going on that. Well, how
Okay.
can you utilize their partnership to help benefit you grow your business?
Expect something from them.
Okay. All right.
I mean, they should be helping give you leads too. It shouldn't just be a one-way street. You find motivated people. When we talk about motivation, okay, I've kind of, it's a niche that I've fallen into. I love working with older clients. And so I'm a senior real estate specialist. And those people sometimes don't have a choice in moving.
Mhm.
So I give them, I've done this enough. I know how to do it well enough that I give them confidence and try to encourage them about how things can be better. But that was one. And how do you find those kinds of things? Well, I'm in 2 different breakfast groups. I know I go rather than cold calling and stuff, but I do prospect all the time. But I prospect with like attorneys, and we do that through the breakfast groups that I'm in. I like eyeball to eyeball contact, and I like to do it with people that can continually refer me business.
That's very impactful. Yeah, prospecting, right? That you
Mhm.
got to double down on your prospecting and lead gen. So most important activities that you feel like to succeed in a shifting market.
Mish asked me to bring some old school stuff. You know, I shared with you guys, here's a contract from 1960, it's 1 page. There's
So,
a,
wait till you see this.
here's your listing agreement, okay, whole thing. Get carbon copies. And then here was one of the things that a broker gave me. It was typewritten, okay, and it's called What to Do When There's Nothing to Do. And-
From when again?
Huh?
From when?
1981.
1981.
So, and I guarantee that almost everything on here is in Gary's books.
And
you
still
know,
relevant
ownership,
today.
And it's absolutely relevant today. Even the scripts, I was looking in here just laughing about it. And it's like, these are some pretty cool scripts. And then if you look in here, it's, well, there's scripts, but there's also about time blocking, which you mentioned. So there's nothing new in real estate. You know, I mean, computers help keep you on track. CRM systems are great. But it all just goes back to, you know, you got to work every day. It'll do it. I think that we've seen such a shift of no inventory. Generally, we'll go back to a shift of more inventory. It's very possible. And when you do that, one thing I would tell you to learn is absorption rate pricing, because it really helps you get your price right to sell in any market, but especially when there's over inventory. That's old school too.
That's awesome.
Well, it's the number of homes on the market, how fast they're selling in 12 months, 6 months, 3 months. How long can you afford to be on the market? Like my seniors, a lot of times, their house has to sell in 90 days.
Yeah.
And there's some reasons for that I could go into, but basically it's saying that how soon do you need to move? Okay, well, based on the amount of homes that are currently on the market, how many are selling in each 30 days, 90 days, whatever, this says where the pricing should
Right.
be.
So basically, how long can you afford to stay in your
How
house?
long can you afford to stay in your house?
You encourage them to be,
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
It
But
kind
you
of goes
can- you
hand in
can-
hand with your
You
CMA.
can go
right?
out, because usually when I do my CMA, it's like, it'll be very specific to their neighborhood. I might map it or whatever, and then I'll go out from there just to show them like, hey, it validates, you know, especially if you're working with an engineer, you can't have too much information.
Yeah, that's true. All right. You specifically now in a, you know, moving forward, what does kind of like your lead gen activity look like to, you know, gain market share in your time blocking essentially? I think you had a kind of a story on how it worked or some of your change in tactics worked, right? You were telling me yesterday.
Yeah, I have moved. First of all, in the shift book, it talks about, you know, find out what works and spend most of your time there.
Mhm.
So for me, it's probably going to be different from some of y'all because you guys don't have gray hair. But
Did you say great hair or gray hair?
both.
Both, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Great gray hair.
Yeah.
It really helps me with dealing with my, you know, with the senior market that I focused on. So where do I get leads for that? Okay. And I have been very fortunate to have worked with some attorneys that specialize with seniors. So rather than just dialing, you know, with individuals every day, I focus more on
Yeah,
yeah,
resources. Yeah.
resources
Allied
that I
resource
have.
partners.
I'm not going to share those, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
What are their numbers, CW?
but there's for every shift, you know, there's a winner.
Mhm.
In 1980, there was people that I know that were picking up homes in, say, in Chimney Stone for $18,000 to $20,000 and rented them for 5 years. So another market that we just worked with, we had people that had bought like in 13, 14 before 15 shift. And, 15, if you remember, Schlumberger, if you were over 50 years old in the oil business, you got walking papers. Schlumberger let people off, Chevron, everybody was, take your retirement and go. People that had bought 13, 14, 15, they couldn't sell.
Mhm.
So we helped them lease their homes for a number of years. This past year, I mean, because we've been in a shift, guys, for over 6 months, 6 to 8 months probably already. So we called our past clients that we had turned into landlords and said, hey, something's coming. Why not take your money now? They go, well, I still have 6 months left on the lease. It's like, well, great, that's good for your tenant. Let's see if they have an interest in buying. And if they do, that's going to save them 6 months of just throwing money away.
Mhm.
That was kind of my script with them. And we converted, I think, 3 different ones like that. The actual tenant ended up buying the house. They made money. It worked really good.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, yeah.
Love those
So,
creative solutions.
yeah, seller is happy, got to cash out, or tenant was able to become a buyer.
Buyer, yep. And and I got both sides of the deal. So
Yeah,
that even made it better.
that is pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always lovely when there's a shift in your pocket upwards as opposed to.
Shift in your pocket. That's the shift we're looking for, right? All right. So expand on that a little bit. How do you capture market share in a shift? How do you get your unfair share?
First of all, define motivation
Okay.
and go after those guys. This kind of gets back to if you've been rolling with it easy, it's going to be really tough because there's, I got in that trap too one time because when I was at Sotheby's, it was all relocation.
Mhm.
And you just sit there and they give you a deal and you got to do it. You're paying, you get half of what's left over after paying 42.5% to the relocation company. But if you're making enough of those deals, it's still money in your pocket.
Mhm.
But when that dries up, boom. So first thing I tell you is, in the book, it talks about go back and look and see where all your sales have come from.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you, if you find that more than 50% are coming from a source that's being given to you, you better start diversifying quickly because it won't last. Period. But look at like whether it's, it's the cold calls, it's expires, it's the FISBOs, in my case, seniors, whatever. Put your money, put your money and your time, because time's the most valuable thing in the world. It's the only thing that can't be replaced. But put your money and your time towards those activities and get focused on it. And look for some other niches. Right now would be a great time. Work on your listings because Chevron disposing their San Ramon,
Mhm.
and they're going to be bringing over 1,000 people into Houston. So you're not going to get any of those buyers likely because they're going to be with relocation companies.
Mhm.
But if you own the inventory, you'll always own the market.
Yeah. Yeah. He owns the listings, controls the market,
And
right?
that's
You
what
said it earlier.
That's what Zillow and Open Door and all those guys are trying to do.
Yeah.
They just control the market. So do it yourself.
It's awesome. Yep. Sound advice. All right. So there's no question about it. There's certain businesses, certain agents that are going to thrive in a shifting market. They find success even in a shift. So what does the grind look like to achieve that success in a market like this? Like daily activity, time.
Well, you're talking, the other agent that was on here was talking about time blocking, and I've always been into time blocking. I get up really early. We're up at 5:30.
Anne rolls her eyes. It's awesome.
We,
4:30.
yeah, 4:35. No, we've actually been getting up earlier than that. I don't know if anybody in here has a CPAP, but I got the Inspire surgery done. So we haven't, we've been up at 2:30. Our dog's like going, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
He's like, it's dark outside. We're not supposed to be up. But, I have like on the top of my to-do list or whatever, I have what I write down IPA. And those IPA to me stands for income producing activities.
Mm.
So that's the first thing that I do. It's like, what can I do that makes money? You do that first, and then everything else, after that. And, follow-up calls and all that's good, but I really work on where can I, my whole thing is listings, guys, because that gives me the ability. We travel. I mean, we're at a great time in our life. We believe in the law of attraction, so we stay positive on everything. I think if you create your own opportunities, but if you think the sky is falling, it will.
Yeah.
So anyway, we focus on, where can I get more listings? And
What you focus on expands, right?
yeah, exactly. So, and that's our life, and that's what really provides for us to be able to do all the things we want to do. We've got 2 grandkids, and we go to Pensacola Ford all the time to help her babysit so she can follow her husband's, my son-in-law's last year in Blue Angels. So we've been trying to help them as much as we can. And if you list, it's easy. But I focus on, over the years, you identify, and I guess I have an advantage because I've been through so many of these,
Sure.
but you'll see trends. And if you kind of follow, if you can, just read all the time, Inman, I don't know if you guys get that, but it's freed us because of HAR.
Mhm.
But, you can read all kinds of stuff about where the trends are going. I read that every day. And if you follow those trends, you'll have an opportunity to try to find markets before other people do. Because, if you're only just reacting, you're going to be way behind. You got to get out in front.
And that's the whole idea of having you up here today. Yeah. So tell me, what are you most excited about moving forward into this for, your business and you?
Now, I'm really excited because we're expanding our team.
Okay.
I'm excited about bringing somebody on during a shift because I think it's going to make them go long-term into it. We looked at retirement, but I love this too much, man. It's just, real estate's fun. It's like putting together a puzzle. Sometimes there's 50 pieces, sometimes there's 100, sometimes there's 1,000. And usually when there's 1,000, when you get to the end, there's always one piece missing that you have to go like search in the under the couch or whatever. The dog might have eaten it, whatever. But yeah, I'm at a point now where I really enjoy doing complicated things. I just got one yesterday, so people call me back that cash transaction we couldn't close. It's been 3 years because of something happened during Harvey. And so now I'm, trying to put that together for them. So it's fun stuff. And I've kind of gotten a reputation for being able to find ways to put things together that other people can't. So that's fun for me. And none of our kids want to take over my business. So what we're doing now is starting a succession plan, and hope to coach some other people on how to do that too as I move forward. And that's kind of an exciting thing for me.
That's awesome. That is, at least you have a business plan and you're sticking to it.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
important. Yeah. All right. So before we close it out with, final thoughts for you, the big thing that I got out of all of this history that you brought together is that shifts are not short-term typically. And if you feel like you're going to just ride it out, you're probably not going to survive. All right. So that's why we're imploring you to get in front of it first, right? Double down, grind, and get ahead of it. All right. So that's what's important. That's a big, big reason why you're here. And we're going to, help you through that moving forward. But, saying that, some last piece of advice, final thoughts on being purposeful, getting your unfair share.
Chad's quoted me a few times on these things, and I can tell you from my experience, well, a couple things. For me, I can tell when the shift is coming. I think when gas goes up over $2.50 a gallon or drops below it too, because at $2.50 they're selling the oil at enough that it should. Because Houston, let's face it, we call Space City, we do everything else, but we are still oil. And so if oil, like in 2015, when they couldn't give it away, and while the rest of the country is doing good. So look at oil prices and condo sales. Condo sales go up for
Interesting.
some reason. That's just another thing.
Why do you think that is?
Because there wasn't enough inventory, so people go into, they are forced to go into condos, and then everybody starts pulling back, going, no, thick prices are too high. And I think that's kind of where we've been at. Now this one's a little different because we've had so many people leaving all the blue states and,
Mhm.
coming here, and they're still doing it. So that's good for us. It's good insulation, but at the same time, we're going into a shift, guys. Things are going to change. And so, just be ready for it. And every time we've been in a shift, it comes back like a slingshot.
Mhm.
So you got to be really on top of stuff, read all the time, feel it, and then be ready for, when it takes off the other way. But getting through these times is just like prospect. No secret, Yeah, we'll just get back to what do you do when there's nothing to do?
Yeah.
So
It's awesome.
anyway, that's my
Speaking of which, if you guys would like to take a look at this thing, what I'm going to plan on doing, the what to do when you have nothing to do, I'm actually going to scan it and put it in the Facebook group. Okay, so that way you guys can all see it. If you guys want to take a peek at this stuff, I guess we can leave it here for a few minutes,
Sure.
but just be very gentle with it. All right, he's taking amazing care of these, so please just kind of see with your eyes, not with your hands. All right.
Here's some that, I just kind of looked on here. Here's a note that I wrote, like, call renters with 120 days left on their lease. Because you can go on HAR and do leases and go back, backdate it and figure out when people are like 120 days left on their lease and start going out to them. We did a letter. It's like, your lease is about ready to expire. It's a great time to buy a house. Things like, there's just things that you just have to like dig deep for. So anyway.
That's awesome. Well, appreciate you, CW. Thanks for sharing that little bit of tidbit, guys. CW Ross, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. I'm sure we're gonna have you quite a few times during this, but yeah, thank you. Thank you for your knowledge and
It's
thanks
just-
for sharing. And
All
love
this stuff is good stuff, just figure out what works for you. Main thing is just don't do nothing.
that. Mhm. Yeah, and the big thing about the shift book, right, that we're saying, that even Gary's saying and people higher up are saying at KW, is the shift book actually is probably a more relevant today than it was back in 09 when it was written. All right, so just we highly implore you to get into that, read it, and just focus on the activities. All right, we do offer the book here at the office, so just reach out to the front desk. If we do run out of copies, we'll order some more. All right, but we do have the shift book here. I believe it's $15. We buy it in bulk, so it's cheaper than buying it on Amazon. All right, guys, thank you so much, and let's get into our partners. On up, Yi. I don't know where Dale went. He was going to be coming up. All right. Go ahead.
Hi, this is my manager, Tanya. She's going to explain our program to you in standard English, okay?
Okay. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Tanya Tercios. I'm the regional manager for Reliant. Ms. Yu Yi is your in-house mover concierge. She assists your buyers and your tenants with all of their utility needs. It's a free service that we provide, that she provides due to the exclusive partnership that Reliant has with Keller Williams. And so that includes setting up the electricity through Reliant, helping facilitate their water and gas connections, connecting their phone, internet, and cable through the provider of their choice. And as a bonus to you, as our business partner, you do earn $75 worth of points for each electricity referral that gets signed up through Ms. Yu Yi Lin. Ms. Yu Yi Lin has been working for Reliant for about over 10 years now. She is actually our top producer of the entire Houston region. So I'm really, really excited to let you know about that. And she has a huge territory due to her tenacity, and she does assist her Chinese community. But aside from that, she has you guys as well. So your support, we're really, really grateful and thankful due to her success. It's all because of you. So thank you very, very much. I will be sticking around for a little bit if you guys have any questions that I can answer. But that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you for your.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Looks like Reliant was the only one that was going to be speaking today. Right. I don't see AMCAP here, nor do I see Patton. So lunch sponsorship. We do have lunch sponsorship. It was home inspection. I'm not sure if they actually sent a representative, or maybe they were going to. I don't know if they maybe made it. But it looks like Hudat Home Inspection is our lunch sponsor today. They did send lunch though, so we should be okay. Oh, there's Catherine. All right, well, let's get Catherine up here real quickly. Catherine, are you gonna be saying anything, darling? All right, well, let's get, you're here, so you got vast knowledge up there. You can just pick something.
Oh, pick something. Well, okay. How about DSTR? I'm back with that again, because I think that's the benefit to you agents. Hi, I'm Catherine with AMCAP. DSTR, it is based on the property. Yes, I got put on the spot. It's based on the rental amount. If it can pay the rent of the property, great for agents. I think you guys should be taking advantage of it, you know, if you're in your investment property. So, hello,
Yes.
Dale, why don't you take over? Because I really don't like being up
No,
here.
she's doing, she doesn't, but she's doing great. The big thing is that you as agents that don't potentially report a lot of income can qualify, assuming you have the down payment and that you have the credit to qualify.
We haven't spoken for a while, Sharon.
Yes.
You know, let me know.
Yeah. So it's a great opportunity for people that are looking to start building a portfolio of investment properties because you do not have to report the income. You could buy multiple properties this way, assuming you have the down payment. So it's a great opportunity for you to get into. A lot of things are going on out there.
No
They're
income docs required. What did you say?
20% with 680 plus credit scores.
And it's great for the agents. So yeah, it's agents. You just have to have the money. We don't show income, no tax returns, no bank statements, no nothing. It's based on the property, 100%. Huh? Sharon? 1 to 4.
1 to 4 units. Yep.
1 to 4 units.
It is
It's
done-
not for
Yeah,
multifamily.
it's done through a non-QM lender,
program. Yeah.
which means be prepared for 45-day close. Give yourself plenty of time. But again, we're not providing full documentation, so it's going to require some extra effort on the part of the lender. One other real quick thing that I want to remind you of, if you're working with buyers, and you have a lender's approval letter or pre-qualification letter, stay in contact with the lender. Make sure the lender is still open for business.
Yes.
How about that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Actually, why are we not your first choice? I've come across a lot of times where you're coming to us after you've had a problem. Try and put us first. Like, try us out. Don't come to us when there's a problem, of course, definitely. But also come to us before you get to that problem. You know, a lot of times, Brandon, your buyer might not be ready. Instead of starting the process when they're not ready, let's get them ready. So this is just come to us. We're here. That's why we're in the office. If we're not in the office, our cell phones work. You have our numbers. They're out there. Use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to pick on anyone. Chase laid off 1,000 mortgage loan originators last week. We're seeing it with some of the big banks that are out there that because the volume is going down, they're eliminating a lot of their staff. They're starting to cut. One of the non-QM lenders,
Shut down.
non-qualified lender in California said, we are closed for business. Yes, Mr. Buyer, I know you're supposed to close tomorrow. Sorry, we can't help you. I picked up a deal from an agent. So that unfortunately is out there and happening. They've got to make a business decision. Does it make sense to continue in business? And for some businesses right now with the economy, it doesn't. So be prepared, constantly stay on top of whoever's working your files as a borrower to know that the conditions are still there and we're still moving forward to that closing date. Okay, we appreciate it. Travis is doing videos. He is going to come out and do a class real soon on how to dispute appraised values. He's going to give you some information when you get an appraisal and it's not making value on what you can do to actually have conversations with the appraisers to hopefully help get those appraised values up for you. Anything else?
Nope,
We're
I'm
good?
good.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
We good? Nobody, right? Not here. All right, all right. Well, today's lunch sponsor, and they did provide a great lunch for us, is Who Dat Home Inspection. Looks like unfortunately they couldn't make it. Yeah, Who Dat. Yeah. Who Dat. Oh, okay. All right. Well, anyway, we appreciate them for providing lunch. Thank you. Look out for their information. I'm sure they're going to leave it around the office. Thanks for joining us, guys. I hope that was of value to you today. Go out there, get in front of it, get in front of it. See you guys online. Take care. Enjoy your day. Make it impactful.
Booty, go lift your booty, get the work done.
Yes, Berna is making sure that she's coaching you on lifting that booty.